Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Paul, the Canadian Snowman, here once again with the Crusades, but this is the fourth Crusade. We've done number one, we've skipped number two, we've done number three, and this is the fourth Crusade. I think this is the last one, right? I haven't heard of a fifth Crusade, and this is just one episode, the sack of Constantinople. Pretty sure I know where that is. I I know I've done I know where Constantinople is. It's basically like kind of like the bridge between like kind of like Asia and Europe, right? Is that correct? But as far as like timeline goes, so I'm guessing this is where like the Muslims have control over it. Because I'm trying to remember when I remember doing a video of when Constantinople fell. The Rome lost Constantinople, which I'm assuming it's already happened, right? That was like years ago, So I'm pretty sure but there's a small part of me that thinks the Rome is not done yet. They fall. Yeah, I don't know. Part of me thinks that Rome's still gonna get it back maybe, and then it fall that, and then the video I saw that's when it fell. But I'm pretty sure it's already fell from that video. I don't know. I'm confusing myself. I watched, you watch so many videos, you get like dates and times. I get it mixed up. I'm sorry, guys, because I like to jump time periods a lot, and because it just keeps things fresh instead of staying all in the same time period. Just like I'd like to maybe do some more like I guess war and history videos, like kind of like in the Asia Asia area, because we've done like a lot of Europe stuff, which I love and everything. But sometimes it's nice to mix it up and get like go to a different area. So it'd be kind of cool to do something like that. But yeah, Constantinople. This is a one shot here, so the sack of Constantinople. They win. They get it then, right? They take it over. I'm assuming they sack it and then they leave. I'm I'm not sure really what to expect, or is this where I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna stop speculating because I really don't know. I just did all that talking when I don't know anything. But yeah, the Fourth Crusade. We just finished the Third Crusade. Definitely check that out. Some really awesome battles, and yeah. And this is basically a new chapter. It feels like it's the same series. We just finished the third one, but this is basically a whole new video or series. Not even a series. It's just like a one shot, basically a Fourth Crusade. And I figured I might as well, since it's only one video, go ahead and do it while the Third Crusade is fresh in my head. So it just seems to make more sense. So obviously, if the Fourth Crusade was like a whole like five, 6, 7 videos, I probably not doing it right now. I'd probably come back to it down the line. But since it's only one video, you know, let's do it. Let's just do it. Let's get it over with. I hate saying that because it sounds like, oh my god, I'll just deal with it and get it done. But no, I want to watch this. I'm just saying, let's just get it done. Let's do it. But anyways, guys, please hit that like and subscribe if you're new here. The Fourth Crusade. Hope you guys stick around afterwards too, because I like to do a bunch of war videos, do geography videos, and who knows? Yeah. So we're getting to the video. Hope you guys are having a great day. For me, it's Saturday. 3, 2, 1. Bam.
The Crusades are some of the most iconic and divisive wars fought in human history, and the image of knights in shining armor had a lasting effect on generations of history enthusiasts. Yet,
that's so true, because when it comes to movies, ain't no lie. Like, I'm more fascinated, like the knights and stuff like that. It's just so fascinating to me. That's probably my favorite time period. Is just like royalty, knights, princes, and princesses. Like, I just find like movies like that and series like that probably interest me more than anything. Well, yes, back into like the Rome period up until like in medieval time period is I just find it very interesting. I guess be more with the, I don't know, I don't know, history and that kind of stuff is just really cool. But anyways,
Yet, even among them, lasting effect on generations of history enthusiasts. Yet, even among them, the Fourth Crusade is universally regarded as a failure, an example of the extent of human greed and the tragedy of loss. In this video, we will tell the story of this doomed venture and the repercussions that followed in its wake. This video
doomed venture. Oh, I'm definitely more like interested now. What am I? Well, I know this is an ad, so I'm gonna skip this.
.com/kings and generals. In 1187, Jerusalem was conquered by Saladin. As a response, the Christian world initiated the Third Crusade, and although the Crusaders managed to retake Acre and Jaffa, Jerusalem remained a part of the Ayyubid realm, and the conflict ended in a truce. Resolve to retake Jerusalem was still strong. By 1198, Pope Innocent III had begun a call for a Fourth Crusade. An army consisting mainly of soldiers from France and the Holy Roman Empire was mustered through the charisma of the Italian Count Boniface of Montferrat.
Okay, obviously Constantinople has already fallen, from like the original Rome, the Roman Empire, because the Holy Roman Empire, as we know, is not the same thing as the Roman Empire, right? So Constantinople of the I guess the episode or the series has already fallen. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Has already fallen, and so obviously they're going now to take it down, and they say it's a failure. So they sack it. I don't know. I really don't know. This is gonna be interesting. I mean, maybe they sack it and then they get it, but then the Muslims take it back. I don't know.
However, this army would still need ships to carry them across the Mediterranean, and thus the Crusaders turned to the strongest maritime power of the era, the Republic of Venice. The Doge, Enrico Dandolo, agreed to manufacture a fleet capable of transporting the Crusader army for the price of 85,000 silver marks. The plan was now as follows. The Crusaders would sail south from Venice and attack the center of the Muslim world, Egypt. After conquering the Ayyubid capital, they would then proceed to take Jerusalem by land.
Okay, never mind. It's because the Eastern Roman Empire. Okay, so never mind. Constantinople hasn't fallen yet. I'm sorry, guys. I'm probably extremely confusing you guys. I'm confusing myself. Okay, so maybe the last of the Roman Empire, the original Roman Empire from Caesar, maybe they're still alive in Constantinople, like, descendants, is he still, so maybe it hasn't been taken over yet. And yeah, and the Holy Roman Empire is a totally separate thing than the Eastern Roman Empire. I'm sorry, I'm confusing myself. I'm getting myself confused in these videos. It's going to clear itself up any minute now. I know it, but I'm just kind of relaying where I'm coming from and how confused I am. Sorry for confusing you.
After conquering the Ayyubid capital, they would then proceed to take Jerusalem by land. However, problems began when the Crusader army arrived in Venice in May of 1202. Out of an expected 33,500 soldiers, only 12,000 were present. This infuriated the Venetians, as they had incurred a great expense building a total of 50 war galleys and 450 transport ships for the Crusaders, who were now incapable of paying their debt. Dandolo refused to allow the Crusaders to leave his city before the debt was paid. The Crusaders managed to collect up to 50,000 marks, but by doing this, they now risked starving.
Damn.
Not wanting their investment to have been a complete loss, the Doge Dandolo hatched a plan in order to use the Crusaders to serve the Venetian agenda. He proclaimed the debts would be wiped if they were to take the city of Zara in the name of Venice. Zara, located on the eastern Adriatic coast, was a Catholic city ruled by the Catholic King of Hungary. For an army endorsed by the Pope in Rome, attacking it was a problematic prospect.
Yeah.
Knowing this, some of the Crusaders refused the Venetians' deal and headed home. But most of the army set sail across the Adriatic to fulfill the Doge's request. When Pope Innocent III heard of this deal, he immediately threatened the Crusaders.
Okay. Zara is Christian. So and the Pope is that is the Pope Christian, and then they want him to sack. Are they basically sacking their own people, or? All right.
When Pope Innocent III heard of this deal, he immediately threatened the Crusaders with excommunication. Count Boniface hid this letter from the army and pushed on to Zara. When they reached the walls of the city, the peoples of Zara hung banners of crosses along the outer walls, professing their Catholic faith.
Exactly.
Despite this, the Crusaders sieged, breached, and sacked the city, killing many.
What?
Furious at the disobeying of his orders, the Pope excommunicated all the Venetians and Crusaders involved in the sack. But the Crusade leaders once more hid this letter from the army, fearing...
Okay, it wasn't the Pope who wanted to sack Zara. Man. Never mind. So it wasn't the Pope, right? I just confused. I just missed a point there, didn't I? Damn it. It just doesn't make any sense. You want to get Jerusalem back for the Christian faith, but yet you're going to go ahead and loot Zara which is Christian, to get money for to go to. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any sense.
Fearing it would cause panic, Crusade leaders once more hid this letter from the army, fearing it would cause panic and desertion. The Crusaders decided to winter in Zara and plan their next move come the spring. Meanwhile, Boniface of Montferrat had left the army and sailed to southern Bavaria to visit his cousin, King Philip of Swabia. Here he met an exiled prince of the Byzantine Empire, Alexius IV Angelos. It is here that we must take a brief pause and contextualize the situation in the Byzantine Empire.
Okay.
The Komnenian dynasty, which ruled between 1081 and 1180, managed to retake most of Anatolia from the Seljuks, but with the death of Manuel Komnenos in 1180, things had changed, and the new dynasty, the Angeloi, was weak and despotic. In 1185, Isaac II became the emperor, but he was highly corrupt, and in 1195 he had been blinded and usurped by his brother Alexius III. Emperor Alexius fared no better than his predecessor, and revealed himself to be just as corrupt. Meanwhile, the son of the deposed Emperor Isaac, Alexius IV, had fled to Swabia to avoid the wrath of his uncle. It is here our story rejoins the Fourth Crusade. The young prince saw an opportunity to use the Crusader army for his own means. He implored Boniface to lead the Crusaders to Constantinople and depose his uncle, Emperor Alexius III. In exchange, he offered to pay 200,000 silver marks, offered 10,000 Byzantine soldiers for the campaign into Egypt, and, most importantly, swore that the Eastern Orthodox Church would be placed under the authority of the Pope in Rome. Many Crusaders were hesitant to accept, not wanting to attack yet another Christian city. The Venetians, never ones to turn down an opportunity to get rich, were fierce supporters of this plan. Doge Dandolo offered the Crusade leaders heavy bribes to convince them to sail to Constantinople. Thus, the Latin army and the young pretender prince set sail for the capital of Eastern Christendom.
Wow.
On June 23, 1203, the Latin army came within sight of Constantinople. The Byzantines were aware of the impending arrival of the Crusaders. The city was defended by 15,000 soldiers, 5,000 of whom were Varangians.
This is like not even really a crusade. They're just, as like these people in power are just using the Crusaders, using the cause for their own means. Like, oh, we got to pay debts. Well, we'll just go sack this Christian city, even though that kind of defeats the purpose of spreading, the gospel or the Christian faith. It's kind of counterproductive, right? So it's like, dang, man, I'm surprised a lot of these. I'm not surprised that a lot of these Crusaders decide to take off, and the ones that pretty much sticking around are the ones in it for the money, and the other ones who might be sticking around are just being kind of lied to, and saying this is just, I don't know, small sacrifice for the greater good or something like that. But dang, everything just seems wrong. It's so, Ellis is like so political, we need money, so what goes, I don't know. And they're just using the Crusades as basically like a cover up for their greed, kind of thing. Wow.
An elite imperial of 15,000 soldiers, 5,000 of whom were Varangians, an elite imperial guard made up of Saxons and Norsemen. It did not take long for fighting to begin. The massive Crusader fleet crossed the Dardanelles Strait and laid siege to the suburbs outside of Constantinople proper. The Latin cavalrymen used the cleverly constructed Venetian horse transport ships, which carried the knights right onto the beach, allowing them to charge directly out onto the shore to meet their foes.
Wow.
The Crusaders were repulsed in brief skirmishes at Chalcedon and Chrysopolis.
I wish there was a visual for that, because it reminds me of like the visual, I don't know if you've seen the movie like Saving Private Ryan, where they have those boats go up onto the beach in Normandy and the front falls down and then the troops rush out kind of thing. And that's the picture I have in my head, is like the front of the ship coming down and then the horses just galloping off, and I don't think they could do that, but that's the way it pictures in my head. So I wish there was some kind of like visual, because that would look really cool.
The Crusaders were repulsed in brief skirmishes at Chalcedon and Chrysopolis, but won a beachfront entanglement outnumbered 80 to 500. Nothing conclusive was determined.
Huh.
The Latins now realized that in order to gain a foothold in the city, they would need to take Constantinople's famous harbour, the Golden Horn, which was protected by a massive chain that prevented any ships from entering.
I remember that.
Thus the Crusader fleet sailed up the Bosphorus Strait. Emperor Alexius III had anticipated this and mustered a sizable defending force that waited on the shore north of the suburb of Galata. The Crusaders charged right out of their horse transports and barreled down upon the Byzantine defenders in a full cavalry charge. The Greeks scattered, retreating to the Tower of Galata, where they fortified themselves. Back and forth fighting continued for a while, with the Crusaders barraging the tower and being repulsed. Eventually they breached the walls and chased out the Byzantines.
Wow.
By taking the tower, the Crusaders were able to lift the chain and allow their fleet to sail into Constantinople's harbour mouth. From their new foothold, they boarded the young royal upon a Venetian barge and sailed up to the city walls, shouting out their good intentions, declaring themselves as restorers of the rightful Byzantine ruler. Instead, the sight of young Alexius IV brought out jeers from the local population, who hurled insults, rocks, and rotten fruit at the young pretender. This was a revelation, as Alexius IV had claimed that he still had substantial support. But the Crusaders were in too deep now to simply pack up and go home. The prelates within the Latin army insisted that they remained within their right in supporting their patron prince.
Alright, so now all the soldiers are like, what the hell, you lied to us, you just try and get power in Constantinople, and you don't really have any support here. I'm not surprised these guys don't like kick his butt for that, but they're there, they need money, so they're just gonna go through with it, just because they need the money, pretty much, right? Gosh, this seems like such a mess.
Insisted that they remained within their right in supporting their patron prince. The siege resumed in the coming days in the form of a two-pronged assault. The Venetian detachment sailed their ships down the city's seawall and launched an assault, while the Crusaders, led by Count Boniface, assaulted the land wall northwest of the city. Here the Varangians proved their worth. The Nordic warriors met the Crusaders outside the land wall and inflicted heavy casualties.
Wow. Nice.
With the land front handled, they made for the sea. By this point, Venetian soldiers had secured a section of the sea wall encompassing 25 towers.
I'm sorry. Am I wrong here? But I'm sure I'm cheering against the Crusaders just because I just think it's wrong what they're doing. I mean, you're supposed to be spreading Christianity, and you're fighting a Christian, uh, a city, town, or whatever, and for like crappy reasons. And so I'm like, come on, guys, defend the city, stop them. Am I the only one kind of thinking that, or you know, are you guys thinking some of the same thing, or am I the only one? And you guys, you're gonna crucify me in the comments. I don't know. I'm just like, come on, defend, defend.
After fierce fighting, the Varangians routed the Venetians, who were forced back to their ships. The Venetians covered their retreat by lighting a wall of fire, which spread and devastated a large chunk of the city. It was at this point that the Byzantine Emperor finally sprung into full action. He rallied a host of 8,500 men and rode with them out of the gates of St. Romanus to finally meet the Crusader host head-on. Yet, this would end in anticlimax. Fear overcame the despotic Alexius III, and in his cowardice, he launched a full retreat back.
But doesn't it make more sense just to stay inside the city, behind the walls? Because to siege a city, it's a castle is a lot harder. You don't need, when you're a defender, you don't need as many men, so it makes sense just to set on the walls and just try and, I don't know, use your catapults and your arrows or whatnot, and just kill them as they try and siege the city. So I figured you just want to sit back on the walls here and just kind of wait for them, and then counterattack up there.
Despotic Alexius III, and in his cowardice, he launched a full retreat back into the city walls before there had even been a fight. This remarkably shameful display disgraced the emperor in the eyes of his people, and he quietly fled from the city, abandoning his post.
What?
The imperial court quickly deposed Alexius III and reinstalled the frail and blind Isaac II Angelos as emperor.
Wow.
This move alarmed the Latins, who could only hope to collect the payment offered to them under Alexius IV. As such, they demanded that the young prince be elevated to co-emperor alongside his decrepit father. The Byzantines, wary of During
Like, wow, man. He basically, what was that dude's name? The prince that won it was Alexis, was it the fourth? Or was it the third? But anyways, he got the crusade. He convinced the Crusaders that they wanted him back, that, the town wanted him back, and convinced them to go attack it so he can take power over, which ended up working, and he got power over it, but then he doesn't really want to pay anything back. He pays half it back, but like, hold on a second. I mean, obviously, if you're the Crusaders, but which are not good people either because they're doing this for the wrong reasons. Uh, Not the Crusaders, but the people in power, kind of behind the siege here of Constantinople. I mean, like, hey, they're like, you promised us stuff, we're gonna take it if you don't give it to us. And so you got basically two people. I guess the guy Alexis, once he got over there and now he has his power, do you really think that the Crusaders were just gonna leave without their money? I mean, come on. Or like, I don't know, he'd be able to build a defense against them. I mean, this guy's gonna die. That's my thinking right now, man. It's like, yeah, we're ready to the shall you return you. So they want to get after this guy. Yeah, you promised us. We gave you what you tried to do. We got the power to you. Now you got to hold up your end of the deal. And he's not holding up his end of the deal. So now they're going to return him back to. They're going to kick his butt back out of this place anyway.
Shall return you.
Oh my God.
During this period, a Byzantine courtier of the Ducas family, known as Mortzouphlos, had been the main advocate for resistance against the Latins, and his popularity increased. In February of 1204, this shrewd politician declared that the Byzantine people were tired of the rule of the Latin sympathizer Alexius IV. The emperor was strangled to death, and Mortzouphlos was publicly declared the new Roman emperor as Alexius V. This change in leadership prompted the Crusaders to call for a meeting under a banner of peace. The Latin demands were heavy. They expected Mortzouphlos to pay them £5,000 of gold for their departure, swear his fealty to Pope Innocent III, and restore Alexius IV to the throne. The Latins were unaware he was dead. Before the Byzantines could reply, a Frankish cavalry charge thundered down the docks, scattering the emperor and his guard. Some crusaders trusted no deal made with the Greeks, and it was now abundantly clear that hostilities would continue.
Well, what's his name? The fourth, he died just like as I expected. So, man, all that for nothing, dude. What do you think was going to happen there? I guess he's just going to hope that he could take power, and they would just end up having enough money in there, I guess. Well, he took off with a lot of the money. Oh my God! Now all the Crusaders are appeased, so they're going to It's the sack. So I'm assuming they're all gonna invade and take what they want, pretty much, right?
It was now abundantly clear that hostilities would continue. By the end of February, the Crusaders had fully resolved to complete a full conquest of Constantinople. The prelates of the crusade declared that the Greeks were heathens and traitors to Christ. It seemed Mortzouphlos knew a full invasion was soon to come. He urgently tried to sway the Varangian Guard to his side. The Nordic mercenaries demanded more pay that the new emperor could not provide, and thus they abandoned the fight. Constantinople was left with almost no garrison. On April 12th, the attack began. Favourable winds carried the bulk of the Venetian fleet right up towards the Theodosian seawall. Once more, from their ships, the Latins managed to seize a section of the fortifications in the northwest part of the city. They commandeered the Blackenai Palace and used it as a base from which they would strike out at the rest of the city. In order to defend their position, the Crusaders lit a wall of fire around the Blackenai district. This fire spread, destroying yet another chunk of the city. Mortzuflos tried to rally more defenders, but the people of Constantinople were now in a panic and in no shape to resist. Mortzuflos fled the city, and Constantinople was left defenseless. And thus, the sack of Constantinople began. The Crusaders began a spree of looting, raping, and massacring that was near unprecedented. Hundreds of thousands would die, and countless priceless treasures were destroyed or stolen.
Wow. That is messed up, man.
Reactions in Western Europe to the sack were mixed. Many expressed shock and horror at the Crusaders' actions, including Pope Innocent III, yet many defended the sack, claiming that the Greeks were traitors to Christ.
Defending the sack, the only reason they're defending the sack is basically to save their own butts because they knew it was wrong. What do you guys think in the comments? Am I wrong for thinking that it's wrong that they sacked Constantinople? That they shouldn't even be over in the first place. That it was all for greed. God, man.
Were traitors to Christ. Following the sack of Constantinople, the Byzantine Empire was partitioned among Western Latin powers and the rump Byzantine states. The largest was the Latin Empire, with Constantinople as its capital. Baldwin I, Count of Flanders and the most charismatic of the Crusaders, was chosen to rule as the Latin Emperor. The fracturing of the Byzantine Empire greatly weakened Christendom's hold on Asia Minor and the Aegean Sea. We would like to express our gratitude to our Patreon supporters and channel members.
Man, that was a messed up episode, or just a messed up video. The Fourth Crusade. It seemed to be all for money, you know? Like, I don't know, just using the crusade as a way, as an excuse to. Man, I don't even know if I consider that really consider crusade. I mean, you weren't going to spread spread your religion, your Christian religion. You're just going there basically to make money to pay for the ships because you didn't have enough people who wanted to join on this crusade. You know, nobody wanted to. You didn't have enough troops to go on the crusade. And so, like, oh crap, I need this money. I need to pay this money back. Whoever did join us for this crusade, go get the money from Constantinople. Yeah, they're not very good people over there. So yeah, we need to spread the word over there. Wow. Maybe I'm just really off and not really getting it, but damn, what do you guys think in the comments? I really wish I had someone right here next to me to talk to. I'm like talking to you guys, but I'm not really getting it. Obviously I can't get no feedback right now, but I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments. You guys always do. I always appreciate that. And what do you guys think, you know? So please hit that like and subscribe if it's your first time here, and we'll be doing something different tomorrow, right? Yeah, that's it. I don't know what yet, but yeah. What else is there to say here? So this is the end of the Crusades. Unless there's a fifth one, you guys let me know in the comments if there's a fifth one. I'm pretty sure there's not. I'm like 90% sure. But I've never heard anything about a fifth crusade. But after this, I can't see there being another crusade after how like much a disaster this one was. So yeah, there it is, guys. Definitely a very interesting video though. You know, definitely very controversial, which always makes for a fun video being controversy, right? You know, so that's kind of cool. Kind of interested to see, you know, if everyone has the same opinion about this crusade or if it's kind of a split opinion. I'm not sure. But anyways, guys, like, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching these crusades with me. And yeah, I hope you continue the ride. I don't know what we're doing next, but whatever we're doing, I hope you guys watch along with me. I know that, you know, it's hard to, well, it's not hard. It's impossible to pick a series that everyone's gonna like. I know everyone has their favorite time period or their favorite, countries or whatnot. And so, I know I've come to a realization it doesn't matter what I pick. Some people are going to be disappointed, and it is what it is. I'm going to end up just if I'm not picking an area or a time period you'd like, maybe down the line I will, and you can come back, or hopefully you'll just like history in general, maybe, and just have fun with me and everybody else. I don't know, but I'm gonna apologize ahead of time for if I do stuff that you guys are not as interested in. But anyways, guys, I do really appreciate you guys watching these videos with me and all that fun stuff. And yeah, you guys have a great day, great night, and yeah, cheers. I don't have a drink on me, but it's Saturday night, so maybe I should. I gotta work tomorrow morning, so maybe that's not the best idea. But oh yeah, I got the balloon festival tonight. I gotta go see the balloons tonight. So anyways, guys, peace. You guys have an amazing weekend. Well, this is gonna be Sunday when you get this, so have an amazing, Sunday evening. Yeah, okay. I'm kind of done mumbling now. Peace. Have a good night, guys. Bye.